Welcome to the Audacity, the podcast where I think I speak for both of us when I say we would rather eat a denim jacket than propose to our boyfriend of 14 years. A little sneak peek.
I did not see that coming at all. Not when I say not at all, I mean not at all.
Yes. A little sneak peek of our tea time today. We will be talking about that story. If you haven't heard, the woman went viral on TikTok earlier this week for saying that she's going to propose to her boyfriend of 14 years. Obviously, a lot of people had opinions. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about some concerning surveillance activities that are happening, unfortunately, specifically in the state of Texas, but possibly everywhere else. And we're going to talk about some MAGA influencer drama that's been happening. And our main segment for y'all today is all about decentering men and the real meaning of that. If you have ever been confused by that term, or if you have been struggling to really quote unquote decenter men in your life, please do stick around because I think we have a very helpful framing of it that I've just been thinking about a lot lately. And for our B segment, we have a mailbag all about dating. We love giving out dating advice. It's usually just dump him or get off the apps. But, we'll see. We'll see. Ryan always picks a good one and we get to read them in real time. So you're getting our immediate reaction.
Right.
And then Crumpets, we will be doing a slick or ick. If you are a Crumpets member, then you have seen that segment before, and hopefully we'll have fun with it as always. And speaking of Crumpets and our VIP members, I'm going to toss it to Sovereign real quick to give y'all the Patreon spiel.
So we have new TVIP Patreon members, Rachel, Alessia, Japscorn, and Julia.
Woo!
Welcome,
y'all. What a big group.
And we have two tea spillers, Anna and Hannah.
Welcome, ladies.
And if you have not joined our Patreon, I don't know what you're waiting on, but we have VIP perks like early access to every episode, ad-free listening. You get our weekly bonus unhinged and uncensored segments, Crumpets, where Lisa and I get very unhinged and have a good old time.
I just watched the one we did with Therese again. And,
I know. I watched it last week. It's so great. Yeah, if y'all want a more uncensored version of us talking about the most random things, make sure you check out our Crumpets. Make sure you join.
Come on over, y'all. We would love to have you. And we actually have a very special tea today, a VI tea, if you will, from one of our VIPs.
Hi, ladies. So I just got married, but hear me out. I did not and will not change my last name for so many reasons. It's so much work. Why do I have to go through this horrible process? It can cause so much headache with your banking information, your voting information, driver's license, passport. The list goes on. Plus, my last name is cooler and it starts with the letter A. So I'm at the top of the alphabet. His starts with R. And it's just an outdated Western tradition. For anyone wondering, my husband doesn't give a shit if I change my name or not, and I wouldn't have married him if he had a problem with it. But a girl I follow on social media also just got married, and I kid you not, on her wedding night, she updated her last name on socials. And I don't know if I'm just being a hater, but there is something so corny about that visual to me. Girl, it is your wedding night, and you're logging on to Facebook.com to change your last name? I don't know. And anytime I see it, it gives me such a visceral reaction. We're witnessing the erasure of this woman's identity. I also hate to see when a woman gets pregnant and their entire social media presence becomes about the pregnancy and then about being a mom. And I'm not going to lie, I will unfollow that person because it's all of their hobbies and personality just vanishes and they just become a mom. And it's sad. Pour one out. We lost another baddie.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, a lot to unpack there. Thank you so much for sending that in, by the way. We really appreciate the listener tea. We love to hear from y'all. Mm-hmm. And so let's unpack that. It's always a mini mailbag or something. And I just want to say, too, that as a married woman, it also never really occurred to me to change my last name. I also like my last name better. And so it's one of those things that I'm really glad we have the choice to do or not to do. I also don't think it's necessarily witnessing the erasure of a woman if she changes her last name after being married is just the erasure of her father's last name. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it is definitely kind of a flex to not change your last name after you get married, but it's also like, that's just your dad's name that you have. Like, it's still another like male's name that you're carrying at the end of the day. Like,
right. 9 times out of 10. I always said that if I got married, I would never change my last name. The most I might do is hyphenate it, but even then, if it's gonna cause problems with the banks and all of that stuff, I don't got time for all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then having to change it back if you get a divorce and go, it's just not worth it.
Imagine. Women have to do all the labor, honestly.
Like, oh, right?
I've always naturally bristled against that. And I think that was like the initial reason why I didn't do it. I was like, no, because then I'm going to go change my driver's license. Then I have to change my passport.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Then
all
I have
that.
to do all that. And now they're like, oh, if your passport doesn't match the name on your voter ID, like, and I was like,
Exactly.
see, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. So I'm glad I didn't do it and totally support your decision in that. I also don't really care if other women change their last name or not. Just make sure it doesn't prevent you from voting, obviously.
Totally. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. It's fine. I think that's the best part of feminism is that you have the choice. Instead of saying that all women have to do the exact same thing and live the exact same life, feminism is like, no, you have a choice. Do you want to change your last name? Change it. If you don't, then don't. And so, you know, but I do understand where she's coming from. You know, when you find out, you know, some people, I guess, cross over to the other side. It's like, oh, damn it. So I get that. But at the same time, we do have to learn to celebrate women and their choices. Even if we don't agree with it, even if it's not something we would do, the beauty is that every woman still has a choice. And so that's all I have to say about that.
Absolutely. And there's like, we all go through many kind of life-changing events. And it's obvious that, you know, because of the nature of pregnancy and having a child and all that, it's kind of makes sense that a woman's social media would reflect that now that that's kind of closer to something that she's doing all the time. But it's also like that could have happened with knitting. Like somebody you know and love could have picked up knitting and started posting about nothing but that, you know, and that happens a lot with the crochet girlies and we love them. But it's like, yeah, right? And it's like you want to share what you made. And so I think like parenthood is kind of that. Like people are just sharing what they made. And I think that's okay. I also think it's okay to grow out of certain people's content. Like I hope and expect that will happen with my audience. I hope I hope that you don't find yourself coming back to like my content over and over and over again to like learn the truth about men. Like I tell you the truth in every video. Like you don't need to like, you can move on to bigger and better things. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the goal. Yeah, you can graduate. So so I just find that like, just go with the flow of life, you know, don't get too hung up on like, oh, you know, I had to unfollow them. Like if that's fine. That's just an energetic connection that you're like, I no longer need that. That doesn't serve me. I don't want someone's life to become all about, you know, or like, I don't want to just be fed like this certain aspect of someone's life. Like if that's all it's going to be, then I don't need to follow them.
I get that part for sure. Cause it's like,
no judgment.
Yeah, it's like just unfollow. We always say protect our peace. If something like that deserves, if it disturbs your peace, then I mean you got the right to unfollow it. Whatever it is, it could be cat videos. I mean, maybe you get tired of seeing cats doing zoomies in the middle of the night, and it's just fucking with your spirit. At some point, it's okay to unfollow the cat videos. Which I'll never do that, by the way. I'm just using it as an example.
You're like, never get old for me.
Never.
Yes.
Never get old.
Yes. All right. Well, speaking of things that are not serving us, let me tell y'all and give you a caution as well, a word of caution, that we are kind of screwed. Like we are definitely entering the dystopian sci-fi phase of of late stage capitalism, I guess, because there's these high-tech cameras that are called flock cameras, and they've been being installed really all over the place, like to the point where they're being offered to like stores and housing communities and other places like that. They're basically the kind of cameras that can help with facial recognition, license plate number recognition, like they're very high-tech. And the salespeople are coming around and selling them basically at a loss to the company because of the data that they're able to collect, right? This is how everything started that collects now our data, right? They were selling it to us for very cheap. The Amazon Alexas, the Ring cameras, these cameras now. What else? Like, I don't know, our biometric data being collected on like watches, etc. So this is just kind of the next natural step here, but they are using it in such absolutely nefarious ways where it's not just for security. It's not like, oh, somebody breaks into a store and now we know their license plate number. No, unfortunately, the way that they have decided to use this, they are targeting like suspicious activity and trying to do basically predictive surveillance like they do in Minority Report. Like they're basically like, oh, you're speeding, so we can, that's suspicious activity, or you have a tail light out, or you have a brake light out, whatever. And so there's a law in Texas that says women can't leave the state to get an abortion. And they have already used this to track a woman across state lines and try and prosecute her for having an abortion. I will pull up the post real quick.
So do they got somebody following her to prove that that's what she left the state for? Like, because if it were me, I mean, I would just say, I'm going to visit some friends. So like, how are they like making you are they making you go through like?
So that's where it comes in. So the abortion clinic or, wherever may have had these cameras installed, again, for security purposes. But now you get pinged coming across state lines. So they spotted you there. They have your license plate there. And now if you get spotted, your license plate gets spotted at the abortion clinic, now they can like put 2 and 2 together. That's basically the whole goal of it, is it's working together with all these other systems. And like they're actually about to partner with Ring cameras, which are owned by Jeff Bezos. And so who knows what it's going to do, but they're basically doing facial recognition to identify drivers. So they're looking at your face and they're identifying that with your driver's license ID. So then they have your full name, your address, your all this other stuff. And they're basically layering in artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. And it's basically a mass surveillance network of cars.
So wouldn't it make sense if you are going to an abortion clinic and there's like a grocery store that's like right down the street, wouldn't it make sense, if it were me, I mean, I would park my car at the grocery store and then walk and make sure I'm in sunglasses and a wig. I'm not trying to be funny, but like people are going to find a way. Like at the end of the day, people are going to find a way. The only thing I can tell women in Texas, if it gets to this, or if it gets worse than what it already is, y'all just gonna have to close up shop. Like y'all just gonna have to say no to men. I don't. Oh God. Yeah. Can you imagine like somebody's watching your every move?
They are. So literally, okay, so Border Patrol worked with other law enforcement agencies in Southern California about a decade ago to develop pattern recognition, said a former CBP official who spoke on the condition of anonymity for fear of reprisal. Over time, the agency learned to develop what it calls patterns of life of vehicle movements by sifting through the license plate data and determining abnormal routes, evaluating if drivers were purposely avoiding official checkpoints. Some cameras can take photos of a vehicle's plates as well as its driver's face. So the cameras take pictures of vehicle license plates, then the photos are read by the system, which automatically detects and distills the images into numbers and letters tied to a geographic location. And over time, the agency has amassed databases replete with images of license plates, and the system's algorithm can flag an unusual pattern of life for human inspection. This is basically like the Minority Report, like the precursor of like, yeah, we can tell that based on this person's patterns or like based on what's going to happen next in their life, they're about to commit a crime. It's basically, this is what they're trying to say.
Was it 2 years in Minority Report where they had to abandon it because it was flawed?
Maybe.
Because
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It was not very long.
Yeah. And this is going to have to be one of those same situations. It's very flawed. People are going to get tired of being tracked. I think a lot of people are tired now, but not to that brink level where it's like, okay, I've had enough of this. Once people get to that level, I mean, what do they expect to get out? Like, it's not going to work. Okay, I'll say this. It probably will work for a certain amount of time. I don't even know if I'm going to call it working. They'll implement it. They'll implement it. Yes. And, you know, it's going to crash and burn. They're going to see how much chaos it causes. A lot of well-known politicians and people high up are going to start getting caught doing all types of shit. And so it's going to backfire. And, you know, somebody in a higher position will be caught going to a sex trafficking ring or something. It's going to take something like that for it to be overturned, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm at the point in my life now when I hear stuff like this, I just kind of understand that history always repeats itself. And the same way we got ourselves into a situation, we're going to have to find a way out of it and go right backwards again. I'm always concerned about the amount of lives that are going to be destroyed in the process while they overturn everything right back anyways. Because this wouldn't last. I don't see this lasting for too much longer. However it starts, however it goes, I just don't see it. But it just goes to show you how sinister people are.
Because I think it's all because of women. Like, I think it's like they figured out real quick, oh, yeah, we can leave it up to the states, but the states are kind of close together. Like, the women can just travel across state lines and get abortions. And I think that's really the impetus for all of this. It's not really about, like, I don't know.
Are they saying they can't travel across state lines to get an IUD or to get their tubes tied? Because if it were me, I would do that.
But now they can make laws around that.
Before they pass those laws, if y'all have been thinking about getting your tubes tied, you need to do it now. I'm just saying, do it now. And as a matter of fact, don't tell anybody about it. Don't get on social media and say, I'm getting my whatever. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday. Don't do it. No. What will be beautiful is that in 2026 or 2029 or whatever, they do a survey of how many women got their tubes tied, and it's like fucking 80%. You know what I'm saying? And it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it because the women have already done it. So I feel like if you guys are going to take any of these steps where you get your tubes tied or whether you're going to get a termination, just don't tell nobody. And, if you have to drive a car or if you have to take a plane, I mean, I don't know what they're doing about the airports. Or they're going to have people going through. Let me be quiet. I don't want to give them any ideas.
Don't give them any ideas.
There's ways around everything. That's all I'm saying. Just get creative.
I just had to throw that out there because women do need to be aware. And like, for the love of God, just don't get pregnant in Texas right now.
Please don't.
If you care about your well-being. And I'm not just talking to like liberal women. Seriously, like
I'm talking about all women.
I've seen all sorts of women come on social media and be like, yeah, so my doctor just told me that I'm kind of screwed because I have to get what's medically considered an abortion because my baby unfortunately didn't make it. Yeah. And now I can't. And now I just have to wait and see if I become septic and die.
which several women have. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure the number is higher than what people got fired. Yeah, people got fired for blowing the whistle on women dying. So people are probably keeping it under wraps now. That number is going to go up. So, and one quick thing before we move on, I just want to remind women that this is not about women who just want to go get abortions for nothing. The vast majority of all the women in these situations that have been dying are women who are married, some of them, and they planned their babies. And they still died. They still went septic. They were still turned away at hospitals. So this is a woman problem. This doesn't have anything to do with if you are a white right wing or left wing, or if you're a Christian or a Muslim, or if you're rich or white. It don't have nothing to do with that. It has to do with you being a woman at the end of the day. Yeah. I hope every woman wakes up and see what's happening and do something about it and be proactive before it's too late. That's all I can say.
We'll link the article. Make sure you read it because especially if you live in one of these states, especially if you live in Texas. My heart goes out to you, obviously. This is terrifying. Okay, we have a crown or clown. Can we roll the video, please?
It's the end of the day. I'm getting ready to go in the shower, and it's finally hitting me that I'm proposing tomorrow to my boyfriend. And I know what everybody's gonna think. And I already know what everybody's gonna say. But honestly, I don't even care. I love him so much, and I know he loves me. And this is just something that I feel I have to do. I really want to get married. We've been together for 14 years already. He hasn't proposed. I know he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. He says it all the time. And we're in love, even after this long. So why not? But I didn't actually think I would get nervous. I wasn't nervous. I've had this planned for about a month or so.
Yeah. I did a video about this. So the biggest debate was if you have to propose to a man, then you've lost. That was pretty much the gist of it. Everybody was like, why would you do that? You're this and you're that. My take was a little different. My take was, I don't think it matters. If a woman proposes or if a man proposes. If a man is not going to treat you right, he's not going to treat you right, regardless to who proposed. If he's going to treat you like a queen, he's going to treat you like a queen, regardless to who proposed to who. I do agree that women shouldn't propose to men, but that's only because of the patriarchy we live in. The rules that society made up for humans. And because most men are operating under that patriarchal mindset, there are certain rules that you have to abide by if you want to get your desired outcome. So because of that, I'm going to say, well, I would never fucking propose. I would rather mop the ocean. I would rather count sand before I propose to a man. But she seems sweet. First, I thought it was rage bait. And I was like, because, people be rage baiting. So I'm like, maybe this is rage bait. But then there was another video of her proposing to him and she got on her knee and the guy was facing away from the camera because he didn't want to be seen for whatever reason. And you know me, I always take a Delta flight to comment sections of people's videos.
Yes, so, I'm running.
So there was a picture, somebody was being messy and they found the picture of him and they still posted it anyway so everybody could see, even though he tried to hide his face or whatever. So I don't know what his reason was for hiding his face. I saw a lot of different theories. He had another wife and kids, or he has a whole nother family, or he didn't want to marry her. I don't know. She seems like a sweet lady. I wish her the best. It could be one of those situations where maybe he was just afraid. Some guys are. Listen, what I'm saying is,
you're trying to be so nice.
No, some guys are really like, they don't have, I don't want to say that. Some men don't have a backbone.
Okay, but it's been 14 years. You would think it's something.
And I think they have 4 kids or something like that.
Right. So you would think it would have been something they could talk about at least. Like if you've been together for 14 years and neither one of you can address the situation at hand in a way that like makes you both happy, then what are you doing? Like, I just don't understand. I feel like with marriage, it's one of those things where a woman should think twice about asking for a man's hand in marriage. Because, and I just say this because men warn each other about this all the time, right? Because then they have access to your assets, your money, your 401ks, like all this kind of stuff. They're like a beneficiary. You're paying for their health insurance, whatever. You have like stuff to split up then. And I would just say like, if a man hasn't proposed to you, he's probably hiding stuff from you. Like there's stuff he doesn't want you to know. There's probably stuff that like is not going to benefit you in the long run that he's probably afraid you're going to find out. And that does not include having a whole nother family, having children, having unpaid child support, that's why I'm saying like, I like to joke with women about you got to get you a virgin man. That way he doesn't have like all these illegitimate children out there that might come after him for like child support, because that's a real risk if you're marrying somebody that's ran through. So I don't know.
Stop. They also said that she asked his father for permission and that they live with his parents. And I thought that was very weird.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing is, if he can't afford y'all to get a house for you and your 4 kids, is he going to pay for your wedding ring? Is she going to pay for her own? I'm just
she's down so bad. It's kind of hard to even like speak truth into the situation, because you're like, oh my God, like she's already down. Like I just can't it looks, the
Right.
situation is
It's
so
really bad.
like pitiful that I just can't like pile on. It's like, it's a canon event, but it's like, how have you made it this long? Like
14 years. That's another thing. How old are they?
yeah, see, it could have been one of those things where they like
Got
started
together
dating
at like
super,
6th
super
grade.
young.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, she doesn't seem.
No, she doesn't seem very old. Like it would have, I don't know.
And she kind of has this like high school first love type of kind of aura about her. Like, we're so in love and he loves me. And I don't want to ever take that from somebody. But then at the same time, you kind of want to shake them like, ugh. If he wanted to, he would have. You know what I mean?
If he wanted to, he would have. No, seriously. That is the thing. Like, marriage is just a piece of paper. So he could have signed it. Like, I'm sorry.
Do you think they're going to make it down the aisle, or is she going to be a long-term fiance?
It's going to be a long-term fiance. And I don't know what the outcome. The outcome is usually he's going to end up cheating on her. He's going to like get his shit together. Like there will be a 2 to 3 year period where he's really hustling, really getting his shit together. And then bam, he cheats on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then marries like the next woman he dates in like 3 months.
I mean, I'm not laughing.
That's one of the outcomes. The other outcome is like you just are that couple, but he just never really likes you and he never really shows it. And you are the one that's like kind of making it up in your head, like this whole love story. And like, he says he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. Yeah, girl, that's what men usually say when they get down on one knee. Like, why, if he's saying that and he's still not proposing to you, then that means he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life with you.
I also wonder if she's like forcing his hand. Maybe he was waiting on something. Because it could be a situation where they were not talking about marriage for a while. And then she said she had been planning to do this for a month, even though they've been together for 14 years. You know, sometimes time can pass, life gets in the way, and you're not really talking about it. And maybe she just came out of nowhere and was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to get married. And maybe he was holding out because, you know, he don't have his stuff together. I don't know. I'm just coming up with scenarios.
And I'm just saying that's a man you shouldn't propose to. That's a man that's more trouble than his worth.
No,
it's been 14 years. He had all this time to have 4 kids with you. He didn't even stop to think about that 4 kids.
And
you're tied together for life regardless. What you mean, getting married or don't get married?
Maybe.
You are.
Maybe. Because some men, once they find another woman, the kids don't exist either.
Right. I'm just saying, like, you're like, energetically tied. You're always going to be affected by that. Like, you're always, I'm not saying, like, you have to stay together for the kids. But, like,
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You are tied. It's always going to be, like, oh, their dad is this and that. Like, depending on his, like, behavior and his proximity and his involvement, like, that's always going to be a factor.
I hope it works out. I do. Because... you know, my dad and his girlfriend been together ever since him and my mom broke up. And I was like 7 or 8 and they've been together ever since. Some people just stay together they never got married. They were talking about getting married 1,000,001 times and they never did it. But I can assure you neither one of them are going anywhere. That I know for a fact. My daddy ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. It could be a situation like that too. Yeah, they do.
It could. But she said, I want to get married. Like, I want that. And so the fact that he's just like holding out, it's like, you might as well tell her, hey, we're never going to get married.
But was he holding out or was he just like, he doesn't care one way or the other? Because I think if my dad's girlfriend truly wanted to get married, my dad would be like, I don't give a damn if we get married or not. We're still going to be together, so it don't matter. So maybe he might be one of those guys that's like, it doesn't really matter. Okay, yeah, I said, yeah, let's get married. I'm just trying to find a silver lining. Because I know couples like that exist. I had a couple aunties who never married.
We should normalize that more.
Yeah, they never got, I don't ever want to get married. But I guess that is the difference. You don't want to get married. So
I think that's the thing. You know, it's like, don't let people shame you if you as a woman don't want to get married. And you're like, yeah, I've been with this man for 14 years and he's not getting my hand in marriage. Like, it's not like that. Like, it's not like nobody's getting my hand in marriage. Like, that's fine.
Right.
But she seems a little bit more like a victim of somebody who's dragging their feet and
probably
also has no ambition in life. Again, I also know times are tough. So it's like, I also don't want to be like I
couldn't imagine wanting to marry somebody or have kids with somebody and I'm living with their parents though.
I know. I don't think she thought it would be that way.
Weird.
She probably didn't think it was going to be that way.
Even if I had 1 kid, I definitely wouldn't have 2 and then 3 and then 4. Like, I would have stopped at the one.
That's
and
my
then
thing.
made an
It's like it's
ultimatum.
way more commitment than a marriage.
I don't believe in ultimatums either, by the way, but I'm just saying. Ultimatums is like basically putting a gun to a man's head to me.
Yeah, no, just leave. Just leave. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll be talking more about that in the main segment. But all right, well, let's move on. We wish her all the best.
Yes, I do.
But,
I sincerely do, actually.
Yeah. And lately there's just been too much tea to cover, so we're running out of time. But I did want to quickly cover some really funny MAGA influencer drama that's happening, where we always say this, and I love that you have this expression for it, but there's no VIP sections in the patriarchy. There's no very important pick me section, okay? And these women are learning that in real time. So I don't know how many of y'all know who Allie Beth Stuckey is, but she is like a very right-wing conservative, like kind of boss babe. Like she has a podcast. She's definitely not living out her quote unquote traditional values, but that's beside the point. She has addressed some backlash that she's received from MAGA fans after she made claims that they considered to be quote unquote feminist. Now, remember, in that circle, it's like that's a derogatory term. That's a slur, basically, like feminist. And so she shared a clip basically saying that porn has weakened men. And she applauded the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk for his efforts to dissuade young men from engaging in premarital sex. And so she basically received all this kind of pushback. They were calling me a feminist because apparently I was finger wagging or whatever. I had people that I consider friends, people I consider colleagues, repeating this kind of thing, lies about me and my family. She said the pushback made her feel disheartened. It can feel disheartening and that kind of thing when it comes from within your own camp. And it's just outright malicious and slanderous and deceitful and angry and bitter and covetous and resentful and all of those things. Stuckey said it weighs you down. Oh, yeah, kind of like the stuff that you do to people. Like, very interesting. There was also a tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene complaining also about typical of Republican men telling a woman to shut up and get back in the kitchen and fix me something to eat. She said, fuck you, in the sweetest, most southern drawl I can enunciate. I've been telling you all, have been trying to tell all you men that our kitchen pantry is empty with spider webs. Our house has been ransacked. The windows and doors are broken and busted, and the greedy rich bastards have twisted your minds into a sick state that you all continue in the two-party toxic political system that acts like college football playoffs, yet is burying you and your children and their children in a pine box in a shallow grave. Get off your ass and fix your own damn food and clean up the kitchen when you're done.
I don't disagree.
But it's like you picked your side. Yeah. These are the men you're stuck with. I'm sorry. If you want to keep being a conservative pick me, then these are the kind of men you're dealing with. You're going to tell these like vile creatures to be like... to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't watch as much porn. Like maybe you just shouldn't be stuck in a basement 12 hours a day gooning off to like horrific things that you're watching happen to women. And they're like, why are you finger wagging at us, bitch? Get back in the kitchen, make me a sandwich. Like these are the men you chose.
Absolutely.
You chose their side. You wanted to appeal to them by talking shit about other women, by being not like the other girls. Enjoy. You're not like the other girls.
I do think the worst thing you can do is take porn away from men who need it.
Oh my God.
I mean, there are some men that's all they got. I would rather them be somewhere jacking off to some porn than out here harming women and possibly children. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, I let him stay in his basement with his porn. I don't care. Now, I do know porn, like brain rot, is a real thing for men and boys. So that's why I'm kind of like, but what's the alternative if we take it away? Do you know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. Maybe they'll go back to building monasteries and like,
I doubt it.
Stone buildings, and maybe they'll go back. It's just
this generation is cooked.
I am tired, dude. There's
too much estrogen in the water for this generation. So we can try again for the next one. I don't know.
I know. The biggest mistake that women make, I think, on both sides is thinking at any point that men care about us. It sucks. It sucks to say this, but like very few men on either side of the political aisle actually care about women and their political issues.
I totally agree.
Most liberal men are also very pro-porn and very pro-sexual liberation and all that, because it gives them easier access to women. And a lot of Republican conservative men just suffer from Madonna whore complex, but they very much still want the whore around so they can triangulate the Madonna. Like, it's always like this.
They still always have each other too, the men. I mean,
bro code, yeah.
No, but I mean just
Grindr.
Exactly.
They do get on Grindr. You're not talking about sexually disciplined people. Like, they'll be married and getting on Grindr.
Oh yeah,
they'll
I
be
think they're
like
the main ones.
married and going
ones.
to like, yeah. So yeah, as a woman, really like do not appeal to men on either side of the political aisle. You never, literally, you don't want their support. At the point that you have men's support, you know you fucked up. I'm sorry, but the point that men are supporting you in droves and watching your content and like spreading your content around, you're saying something fucking stupid. You're probably talking about
I totally agree.
how, you know, women are ran through or whatever, how women need to shut up and get back in the kitchen. But then you get mad at the men because you falsely think that you've aligned yourself with the men. You're like shoulder to shoulder. They're like your bros. No. The moment you say something they don't like, they're going to tell you to shut your ass up and get back in the kitchen and make them a sandwich.
Absolutely.
So that's the canon event, ladies.
And I think Marjorie is going through a canon event, or it could just be that she's just grifting because she realizes her side is going down sooner or later, and she just wanted to get off a sinking ship. Either way, I told you, I'll probably never like her because of how she acted towards Jasmine Crockett. So
no, yeah, she's dead to me. Absolutely. But
no matter what she says, no matter what she does.
For anyone that needs any other reasons, yeah.
And plus, I just can't look at her and not see bleach blonde, bad built butch body. No matter what happens in life, I'm never gonna not be able to see that.
That's an effective burn.
So it's every time I see her, I'm
follow her.
Yeah, it's gonna follow her forever. So
yeah,
I mean, I couldn't take her seriously even if I was paid to. So there's that.
And that's that. So yeah, good luck, ladies. There's definitely no VIP section where at the tree that you're trying to bark up. There isn't. You're not going to get to go. It's the tree house is no girls allowed.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said
you're
that.
barking up the wrong tree.
It's not even a temporary seat. It's more like a stay out in the parking lot and we might come out and get you. We may not. But either way it go, you're not. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, stick around for our main segment on how to actually decenter men. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and we are here to talk about decentering men. So this is a term that I think is about to hit the cultural zeitgeist. Like, I think you're about to start hearing about decentering men and the decentering men movement on the news, kind of like we were hearing about 4B a couple months back, because I do think it's like a term that's been thrown around enough, and it's to the point where you're hearing things like male-centered as an insult. And it's been a really awesome cultural movement. And that's why I think it's really, really important to define it properly and to really break down what it's like really about, especially versus other movements that are also feminist in their nature, but could be more or less extreme, could be more or less like physical, whatever. So we're just here to unpack all of that. And please raise your hand if you thought that decentering men was like a physical thing, like a physical action. Like when you hear that term, do you kind of see like this, like almost an action, like you're taking men from the center and then you're like moving them almost like pieces on a chessboard or something like that. And you're like, but how do I actually do that? Like, is it an action or like, what is it? And it's something I've been thinking about a lot as someone who makes that type of content, makes decentering men type content, and has recently come under attack. Like, people were mad at both of us for a hot few months here very recently for being partnered. And they were like, yeah, but y'all are decentering men content creators. How come you're partnered? And like, raise your hand if you were genuinely confused by that, because I was like, what? I was so effing confused.
Was too.
And we'll get into why that was. But and I've been thinking about it ever since and just mulling it over and over in my head. And as I was making a video like the other week, it just sort of slipped out that like decentering men is not necessarily an action. It's a result. It's an outcome. It is the outcome of feminism and like the actions that we're doing, like female liberation, really, because it even goes beyond feminism in that it's not just about rights, it's about perception as well. Yeah. And like, how do we perceive men? And, you know, how do we actually change the male-centered society that we live in? Because that is the patriarchy. The patriarchy is what's male-centered. Women can be male-centered, men can be male-centered, everyone can be male-centered, because the patriarchy is feeding that to us from the top. And so the decentering men movement is about changing that. It's not about this physical like action, like you're just like moving every time you see a man, you just shove him off to the side or something. Like that's not how it really works. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I think that's going to be like a very productive conversation, because I do think a lot of people are genuinely confused, especially people that are just starting their feminist journey. They're like, what does it really mean? Does it mean I can't ever talk to a man? Does that mean I can't ever date again? Does it mean, you know, like, what does decentering men actually mean? And so let's get into it. What are your initial thoughts?
Like I always say, decentering men just means a man is not the center of your life.
Yes. I like how you're framing it, as an outcome.
The amount of times that I've had to say that in the last couple of months, I could be rich. Because people just, and it reminds me of this live I went in a few weeks ago. And these women had already made up in their minds what decentering men was. Just like people made up in their mind like 7,000 different definitions of the 4B movement. And we're like, no, it's actually just this thing. And y'all just took it and believed whatever you wanted to believe. And I was in that live trying to explain to them what it was and how simple it was. It just means that a man is not the center of your life. You can be in a relationship or you can be out of one. You can polydate or you could be married or whatever. It just means that you still have a life and you're not giving up pieces of yourself or anything of yourself to be with a man, because typically that is what the patriarchy trains women to do. Is, you know, and so women have this mindset like, oh, if I'm going to be with a man, I have to give him my all. I have to give up things. I have to be the one to sacrifice. I'm the one who has to move across the country. I'm the one who has to give up my career and have babies. And, you know, and unfortunately, I think the reason why some women don't understand that you can have a man and decenter them, it is because the way that their brains have been programmed to be in relationships is women sacrificing. And it's like, they don't believe you can be in a relationship with a man and have a happy relationship and have a happy man and not make him the center. And so it's like, you can. And if you can't, you're with the wrong man. It's really that simple. But you can also, and that's another thing. They're with the wrong man, but they'll sit there and keep fighting and keep trying to work it out and, you know, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole for like however many years. And it's like, no, you're with the wrong man. If he's trying to make you give up everything that matters to you in order to serve him and make him happy, because that's what women do. That's what girlfriends do. That's what wives do. But you still have things that you don't want to give up. That means you're literally with the wrong person. And you're delaying the inevitable. Y'all are going to break up sooner or later anyway. You might as well do it now and save all your good years. I'm sorry, but that's just how I look at it. But you can also choose to be single. But either way, you can't go through this society pretending like men don't exist, because that was another thing. Like women were acting like you're not supposed to see them. They don't exist. When you go get your car tires rotated, there's not going to be any man there to rotate your tires. Like that's not reality. Like that's delusional.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to deal with men one way or another. So it's like, but they're acting like, no, you're not supposed to talk to them, date them, text them. You're not supposed to smile if they give you a compliment. You're supposed to frown up. You're supposed to be a feminist, right? You're not supposed to dance to, I don't know, some rapper's music. You're not supposed to because you're supposed to be decentering men. And it's like, dude, that's an individual choice for each individual woman if she wants to go down that route. The general definition of decentering men, simply, a man is not the center of your life. That is it. I don't know why that's so hard.
And I find it's one of those things where it always starts as like my husband calls this like wrong in the right direction. Like I love the enthusiasm. Like I love the direction of it, right? The direction of it is like men should be seen, not heard, or maybe not even seen, like we don't even want to see them. Like I love that, because men have treated us like that for centuries. Little bit of a taste of their own medicine. I get that. And I am super with women that want to be on the more sort of like separatist side of feminism, right? The 4B movement, we're with you, we applaud you, whatever. Like not dating, like separatism, literally, that's also a movement. Political lesbianism, for those who can get behind that, like that's a movement. And if you want to belong to those movements, that is one thing. But I think confusing it with or like muddling it all together with the decentering men movement will do a lot more harm than good. Absolutely. Because when you mix separatist ideas with like we can't decenter men, like no woman can decenter a man while in a relationship, right? No woman can do that because of our nature. Women are more sweet and serving and like less selfish and, by nature. And I'm like,
who told you that?
Who told you that? And I know you're not talking to me.
Right.
Because I'm an only child and literally everyone in my life has at some point made a comment about, oh yeah, you're definitely an only child. Like I am not naturally selfless. Like I'm not naturally giving. Like I'm generous, but I'm not like literally like I'm not one of those people that's like, oh here, have a sip of my drink. Like no, get your germy mouth off of my shit.
Go
like
get your own drink.
Go get your own drink. Like I ordered this for me and yes, I'm going to eat the whole thing.
Exactly.
Because I planned for me because that's how I move through life as if nobody else matters other than me. And that's a problem. Right. And so I've been actually like, if anything, I have to like dial that back a little bit because I am radically selfish. I really am. And so I am one of those people. And so I know you're not talking to me when you say that women are naturally like giving and no. And that's the key. And it's like, and meanwhile, people are out here saying that kind of stuff. And there's, I did a video about this and you probably know exactly what I'm about to say, but there's a lady named Kelly out there that lives with her husband, but more importantly, her squirrel named Sugarbush. Yeah. I don't know her husband's name. I know that the lady's name is Kelly, and I know that the squirrel's named Sugarbush. I know that their entire home is built around the needs of neither Kelly nor her husband, literally, but Sugarbush. Okay, that squirrel's 12 years old and has lived the best life of anyone I fucking know. It has 4,000 outfits. Yes. It's been photographed 6,000 times. Like it's a phenomenon, right? And this man works 3 jobs to provide everything that squirrel needs. And Kelly says, if we ever are running low on money, we'll just move into a smaller house. Sugarbush is non-negotiable, okay? That little squirrel and her outfits and her, glam rooms and whatever, non-negotiable, all right? And y'all are telling me women can't decenter men in marriage. That just...
And I'm not trying to be funny. Oh, I mean to cut you off.
No,
that man, and I don't know them in real life. I admit that. The vibe I get, that man worships the fucking ground she walks on.
He's exactly where he wants to be.
Like, and then they say they spent over $1 million. $500,000. For all of Sugarbush's like clothes and whatever else. And it's like, and he was also saying that he works all those jobs to make sure Sugarbush has everything he wants, but he's doing it for the wife. So he's doing this for his wife because she's the center in that marriage. And that's, listen.
God bless her. God bless her. And I'm just saying that's the example. So see, it's a result-based mentality, okay?
I agree.
Decentering men is result-based. If that house, because most houses, you'll notice, are built the same way except for around a man. He has his disgusting recliner that he loves. Nobody's allowed to sit in it. You know, every man wants to be Sugar Bush. You know, he wants to have his recliner. He wants to have his outfits picked out for him. He wants to have his laundry done, like all that. Hell no. What do you bring to the table? You're not even cute like a little squirrel. You're not even like, you don't even give, you know what I mean? That woman would be happy if it was just her and the squirrel.
Oh, I'm sure she would. That
man is, he earns his place in that situation, which is exactly, I'll remind you again, exactly where he wants to be. 3 jobs, no gun to his head.
If one of them were to die, I think she would miss the squirrel more than
I'm saying. Oh, 1,000% she would, and that's exactly how it should be.
And he fucking knows it too.
And he knows that, and what?
Oh
and he's still there. And he's still there. So I'm just saying, like, when you see stuff like that, and like everyone has at least, I mean, okay, I think that most people have at least one example of this kind of thing in their life. Like, I know there's people that make skits about, you know, your aunt that is always telling your uncle to do something. And she's like, you know, Ben, I want that tree down. I don't like that tree no more. I want you to cut it down. I don't want that. I want you to build some planters right there. You know, we need to uproot this entire bush system here, and we need to move it to the front of the house. Like, and he is exactly where he wants to be. He's going to be doing that stuff.
Agree.
That's his weekend. He doesn't have plans. He doesn't have friends. Like, he doesn't have anything. He just has the yard and whatever that woman wants him to do. And then they hang out together.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm just saying, you can decenter men in marriage. It just, kind of like you said, it has to be the right man. It has to be a non-patriarchal man. So I do think that's where, like, a little bit of it gets kind of staticky, right? Because a lot of people are like, no, like you can decenter men and stuff like that. But I see why women don't have like a whole lot of trust in that. They're like, I'm not just going to take your word for it, because chances are you probably don't decenter him as much as you think you do. You probably still, you know, do certain things based on his preferences. There's probably still things you walk around on eggshells around this guy that you wouldn't bring up or whatever. Right. And I'm saying that while it's okay to be skeptical and to question that, you have to know that there are women out there who literally don't give a fuck. They're too busy dressing up their squirrel in its 4,000th outfit, you know, for yet another photo shoot. And that's who you need to be.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, so to decenter men, you need to center yourself and your own desires and all that. So, but Sovereign, why don't we just tell women that? Why don't we just tell women, well, just center yourself? Why do we spend all this time talking about men and how horrible they are? And why are we so bitter? And why do we do that?
Well, I mean, I don't even think decentering men, that name or phrase wouldn't even have to exist if we were not born into a patriarchy to begin with. We say all the time, we were born into a world, into a society where we're told as little girls, you got to be a mother one day and you got to be somebody's wife. You got to learn how to cook. You got to learn how to clean. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach and all this other crap. And so the programming started literally at 1 year old. Like literally, your first toy was a doll, right? Like we always say. And that's the reason why we have to even talk about decentering. That's why that's even a thing in the first place, is because we grew up in a male-centered society. And the way that you undo that is to decenter them and center yourself. I mean, in centering yourself, you when you start focusing on what you want, where you want to be in life, if you want kids or not, if you want to be married or not, what kind of house you want to live in, what kind of career. When you start focusing on that every day, you're naturally going to decenter them for the most part. If you have like tunnel vision, like focus, like I'm going to school, or I'm doing this. It's going to take me 6 years to complete this program. And you literally, like Jules, I don't know how long it's going to take her to finish.
We love Jules, shout out.
Yeah. She's like, I can't focus on a relationship right now and go to school. And she's like, look, I'm choosing school. And like, boss shit.
Ugh,
like, listen.
I love her so
much. When I came across that, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I melted. I literally melted.
Yeah. No, seriously.
And I knew the feeling she was talking about.
Shit.
Yeah.
She's living that shit.
Yeah. And people are so male-centered that they're like, you're going to just let a good man go? Oh, that's so selfish of you. Okay, well, what the fuck is...
Because she's not living in a lack mindset.
She's not.
And a lot of women are.
And here's the thing. Maybe we should start embracing being called selfish. Because it used to be kind of an insult to me. You know,
it's never been an insult to me.
It kind of was for me. It's not anymore. But the reason why it was for me was because when I would tell people I didn't want kids, they would say, that's selfish. And I'm like, I'm not selfish. I'm like literally the most giving person you'll ever meet. Like, people have no idea. Like, I would literally give you the shirt off my back. I'm the most giving person. I'm not selfish. However, if society wants to keep calling me selfish, then fuck it. I'll just wear that. I'll get a shirt made that says selfish. Like, I mean,
and that's exactly
and,
right.
and a matching hat that says selfish as fuck. You know what I mean? So maybe we can start being okay with being called selfish. If it leads women to the promised land where we're centering ourselves, and call us whatever you want at this point.
I think it's very much a compliment. I've actually, even when people try to insult me with that, I'm like, why do you think that's an insult? Why do you think that's an insult? Because I think you look like a dummy talking about you're so selfish. Yeah, and I have what I want. What do you have?
Yeah.
What as being all this selfless, sacrificial, you know.
What has it gotten you?
Gotten you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about like in dark ways, like, you know, stealing from people or screwing people over or whatever. But literally, like, especially as a woman, it's considered so radical. You know, to not take your husband's last name, to not give him children. You know, I still do hear about that, you know, especially
I've
from
always hated that phrase.
certain relatives. Yeah. Why didn't he give himself children?
That's so
Oh, I'm
creepy.
sorry. I forgot. He couldn't. Yeah.
I get
so
the
I guess
ick.
it's going to be up to me then.
I get the ick when I hear people say, you're not going to give him
disgusting.
a baby? No.
What do you mean?
And it's not his. Like,
Ew.
I'm going to be the one stuck.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the outcome of most women. Like, I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah. That's what people call you selfish for. Oh, well, I want to go to school and I want to get like a law degree or I want to get a medical degree or whatever. Oh, well, you know, that's going to take a long time and you're not going to find a man, all that. Like, that's why we need to talk about decentering men, because people think things like that are selfish. People think women pursuing their own potential instead of like investing fully in a man's potential is selfish. So yeah, you should be so proud to be called selfish. And I think you should do it in little ways too. Like, I think there's a little kind of micro selfish, like flipping the table on men. Like if instead of like, if you're on a date, if instead of like letting a guy finish the food that you didn't eat, take it home. Why would you, offer it? Oh, are you still hungry?
Right.
Doesn't matter. He should get himself something else.
I agree.
But you need a late night snack. That'd be me. Like, I don't know. I didn't really date around too much, but I'm taking my leftovers home. Like, unless I just genuinely like, no, I'm not going to eat them or whatever.
I'm absolutely
but
taking my leftovers home, no matter what.
Right? Stuff like that. Or like, just don't consider things selfish when they're not really selfish, when you're not really like, it's what a lot of people call selfish is not going out of your way for a man.
Yes.
And that's what's expected of you, because men are centered in our society and people are always surprised, like, oh, well, your husband this and you don't, I don't do most of the cooking. I don't remember the last time I touched a dirty dish, and there's a lot of myself and my mutuals that have the same kind of setup where the husband cooks or the husband, is like more of like the kitchen person. Like they're just more comfortable in the kitchen.
Same here.
And men always stay asking, well, what do you bring to the table? And like, why would you ever assume
cute little self?
Yeah, like why would you ever assume that somebody's doing that for a man, right? They think it's selfish to not like constantly be utilizing those skills. And it's like, no, I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to do that stuff for myself. But right now, maybe I'm in a season of life where I'm working more and like harder, on some levels harder, on some levels I'm under more pressure than my husband happens to be under. And so he is happy to do the stuff that normally we might tackle 50-50. You know why? Because I'm not going to center him to the point where I'm like, but I still have to do this stuff or else he might think I'm selfish and leave me. Like, no, I didn't have time to do the dishes today. You can do them or not. Like, you know what I mean? We both like living in a clean house. So the dishes are going to get done.
Yeah.
And he's going to pick up the slack, even if it's a little little bit more than what he normally does, even if it's a lot more than what he normally does, because that's what a relationship, a partnership is. And so, but if he was the center of our marriage, then I would have just simply put my professional ambitions aside and been like, well, I can't do that and also upkeep the house and be a good wife and do all that. That would be a male-centered life.
Absolutely.
That's a life that I just don't want for any of y'all, you know, myself included.
I would
like
rather jump off a cliff.
I would eat a denim jacket, seriously, with a knife and a fork.
And I am so serious when I say that. Like, people think I be playing. If I had to choose a life where I have to give up the things that matter to me, that makes me happy, to serve a man or be pushed into an alligator swamp,
right?
I would just say, push me into that. You don't even have to push me.
Absolutely.
I would just jump.
Yes.
Because for me, the alternative would be misery. That'll be miserable to me. I'm not you only get one life. Like, I'm sorry, you only get one life.
Never forget that. Seriously, never forget that.
I'm not wasting my life being miserable if I don't have to be. I'm sorry. And serving a man.
It's too easy not to.
Serving a man is misery. And you know what? It probably wouldn't be so bad if more men were appreciative. And I'm talking about they really, truly appreciate it. And they don't show their appreciation by cheating on you and putting their hands on you and making you out to be a fool. If it was more of a collective thing where it's like, it's worth it and y'all are serving each other, maybe, right? But no. And I also think that when you decenter men, like really, truly decenter men, in my opinion, that's probably when you're going to find somebody that's like worthy. Because beforehand, you're going to be dealing with men who are like, gimme, 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 gimme. I need a servant. I want a maid. I want a slave. You're supposed to be serving me. You're supposed to be giving up this and giving up that for me. But when you get with somebody that, if you stay single, or if you choose to date somebody that's like, she has her own life. Like she has a career. I don't want her to drop out of school. I don't want her. The quality of the guy would just be a whole lot better in general, just because he sees you as a human. So I think that that's the key. If you're out here like searching for a good man or a decent man or whatever, the way you're going to find that is decentering men, in my opinion.
Yes. And finding somebody that
number
can
one way to
hang
find
with
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's going to be a non-patriarchal man.
Yeah,
Again,
I agree.
The man taking care of Kelly and Sugarbush is not out here bragging to his buddies about how his wife does this and this and this for him, right? He probably keeps to himself. He probably doesn't, you know what I mean? He probably doesn't have a bunch of macho friends and Saturdays are for the boys and whatever. But he's exactly where he wants to be. And that's the type of man that you're going to find when you are so deeply focused on yourself. And a lot of women can testify to this. And it's at that point that you also might be like, yeah, but I'm going to school too. And I can't actually have this like productive, flourishing, happy relationship that doesn't stress me out and do school at the same time. And so I might need to quit one of these things. And one of them is more important. Exactly. And one of them actually serves me. And the other is like a social construct that I feel like, you know what I mean? That actually requires, that's not going to like pay me more. Like I can't go and get a job with my MRS degree, right? Like you can go get a job with your PhD, or like whatever, your other degree that you get in school. And so you just automatically like win by decentering men. And as one of my favorite mutuals once said, she goes by Lizzie B, I'll tag the video, but she said, centering men is its own punishment. Nice. And so that's why we have to look at this, as a results-based kind of system, because when you center men and when you put things aside and place your hopes in like another human being, the fact that they will always be there to support you, the fact that they won't like cheat on you, the fact that they won't ever get jealous of you, the fact that they won't ever try to, I don't know, make you be traditional when you're not really traditional, whatever, like try to talk you into stuff you don't want to do. It's like when you center a man to that point, you will suffer eventually, maybe not right away, but that is really and truly its own punishment. Even women that make it all the way to the end of a marriage and 50 years and whatever, and then bam, your husband dies of a heart attack and now you have literally nothing. You have nothing to entertain yourself with. You have nothing.
No life
because
skills.
chances are,
No
because
job
chances
skills.
are, even if you pretended to be happy all the way through it, even if you found some meaning in it, God, I don't know. But like you spent your life serving a man and like catering to a man, making sure his pants are ironed out before work, making sure his breakfast is ready, making sure his coffee's ready, whatever. You never even thought to fill your life with different wonderful, amazing things. And then you get to the end of your life and you have less energy, you have less opportunity, you have less money perhaps because you didn't work your whole life. Like it's one of those things that usually will not end well. Also because men, it kind of brings me back to the whole non-patriarchal men thing. Any man that's going to take you up on that offer of like, I'll just serve you and I'll just make sure that your pants are ironed out before work and I'll just make sure your breakfast's ready, whatever. That man doesn't like you. Why wouldn't he be like, babe, I can do that? Like,
exactly.
I can make sure my own pants are ready. Like, why don't you go for a walk or why don't you go like take a class? Why don't you get a certification? Why don't you like, I don't know, something? Why don't you go volunteer? Why don't you go make some friends? Like anything, because a man who is non-patriarchal actually won't really feel all that comfortable being the center of your life.
Right.
He's going to be like, what?
Perfect.
Like,
That's exactly when I was talking to my man's mom. It was earlier this year. And his two sisters, they were like, his mom was telling me before we ever met that he used, women would like ask her like, what's going on with him? He doesn't call me back and he doesn't. And that he was like, well, I mean, I want somebody to have their own life. So there was a woman that I guess that was just like basically chasing him and being thirsty or whatever. And this was years ago. This was like years ago from what his mom was telling me. She was like, she was basically telling me why she thought we were perfect for each other because she knows like I have a podcast. She knows that I work, I make my own money. She knows I don't want kids. And he's the exact same way. And she said, this is why I think you guys are so great for each other because he wants a woman that has her own life. And I remember when me and him talked about it, he laughed and he was like, well, I mean, yeah. That's important. Like, I don't want, and he actually doesn't, I'm trying to figure out not to say like too much information. He doesn't like the fact that one of his sisters, so both of his sisters are very smart and like educated and all of that. And one of them chose to, she's rich, her and her husband are rich, but she chose to like, be a stay-at-home mom and stuff. And he doesn't like that. Even though he likes her husband, they all literally grew up from like childhood all the way up until now in our 40s. They've all been like in this tight-knit community. So they're all like they all got the same friends and everything. And they're all cool. Like he loves the brother-in-law and all of that. But he's like, my sister's so smart. Like she can be doing this and she can be doing that. But she, does a lot of like running around with the kids and all that stuff. And it's fine because the kids are young. And I think that they're just trying to like get all of their time with them while they're young because the time goes by so fast. And I was just trying to tell him that. But he's so like protective in that way. Like
he has a healthy skepticism.
Yeah, he's like, you got to have something for you. And he also was even saying
at the end of the
how
day,
much his mom sacrificed everything for all of them. And she, even to this day, still pours into everybody. And she kind of puts herself off to the side. She's the sweetest lady you'll ever meet. Like, oh my God. Like when I tell you, this woman is like, when you hear people, if you ever hear people say somebody descended from the sky, that's his mom. I'm not even over exaggerating. But even he said, like, I really just want my mom to like take time for herself and like focus on herself. And she's always pouring into everybody else, which I know she comes from that era where, mom is going to bake all the cookies and she's going to do all this and she's going to make sure she attends all the grandkids. Yeah. She's going to attend all the grandkids' games and all that stuff.
And that's how a man actually sees women as human beings because he's
that was my point.
That's not fulfilling. Like that, whatever you're doing, I know you think it's fulfilling, but you could be doing more. Yeah. If I were you, I wouldn't be doing this. Like if I were you, like that's Yeah. Same. It's exactly how you know, because that man is never going to encourage you to abandon yourself.
Never.
And he's never going to be the type of man that enjoys women abandoning themselves. He's not going to be the type of man that's like, oh, well, I just think women should have kids. And like, I just think, for every woman, that's just like an important experience to like experience your purpose and to experience that and like whatever. Like there's a lot of men that will be like, call themselves like feminists and stuff, but they still think that women are missing out on some kind of true purpose if they don't choose to be a mother and like
that's
whatever.
A red flag too, ladies. If you ever hear a man say anything like that, or if you watch how he gets a little annoyed at the fact that you want to go back to school or that you want to start a business, I'm telling you, that's a red flag. If he has a problem with that, then you automatically know that he has this mindset that you are supposed to be serving him. Like you're supposed to be doing things for him. You're supposed to be at home barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, literally, making me a sandwich at 2:00 in the morning. And it might sound over dramatic now when I'm saying it like that, but I'm trying to tell you, you will save so much time and energy when you start hearing men say that little stuff, because they're fucking red-pilled or they're patriarchal and they believe women have a place. Anytime I ever hear a man say anything about women need to know their place or women forgot how to be women now, automatic, done. Because you're just going to waste your time. Yeah. You're just going to delay the inevitable by staying with them. To
because
me,
the place that they think women belong is propping up a man. Centering a man.
Facts.
They're like, she needs to know how to cook, clean, take care of babies, all the stuff that...
For who? Not for herself.
Exactly. Because they hate it when single women do that stuff. They hate that single women are so self-sufficient.
Or if you're cooking steaks for your dogs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they hate
Remember that lady?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember how
they're
mad
like, God
they got?
forbid.
You remember the comment section, there was just a bunch of men just like going in on her because she's wasting her cooking talents.
Can you believe that?
Fucking dog. Like they were
That's
really
how
upset.
centered they think they should be.
It's a dead giveaway.
It's a dead giveaway. And so that's why we're talking about results based. So whenever, right? Like if your lifestyle's making men mad because, you're like wasting your cooking skills or your potential or whatever
you're on the right
yourself,
track.
You're doing it right.
Yep.
You're absolutely doing it right. And that's why it's important for us to talk about decentering men, because like we have to paint you a picture, because just like a fish swims in water, right? And it doesn't know that it's swimming in the water. You're never going to know that you're like living in the patriarchy, because so many women like repeat stuff just because they hear it. They're like, yeah, but like motherhood is the highest calling, or stuff like that. Like marriage is something that's like good for a woman. And like, it's good to kind of like be selfless. It's good to serve others. It's good to have a purpose that's about more than just yourself and like And we say these things because it sounds nice to say them, because in some contexts they are actually true. Like I do believe that like, being selfless, like for your community, being like altruistic, right? Like that has a time and a place. But also in the world that we live in, where we are able to center and invest in ourselves, especially as women, it is very important for us to learn the difference between like living your life for yourself and like living your life for a man. Because again, just like a fish in the water, you wouldn't know that you're being programmed to swim towards like a man. You're being programmed to swim towards marriage, children, house, car, like all this kind of stuff. And really, there's so much more. There's like this whole ocean, but it's like they're trying to bait you toward this one specific part. And it's like there's a whole ocean.
That's such a good analogy.
Right? Like once you kind of get off the course, you're like, oh my gosh, guys, look over here. There's all this stuff we could do and da-da. And everyone's like, well, why? Why don't you just want a traditional family? Where are all the traditional women? Where's all this? And it's like, we're decentering men. Right. We're decentering this idea that a woman's life is somehow given more purpose by a man or less purpose by investing in herself. But it's like, we have to paint that picture. We have to tell y'all that there's like bait and where it's actually leading you to. Like it's leading you into a shark's mouth or whatever. Like, I don't know. Literally. It's like one of those anglerfish or whatever that has a little light and it lures you in with the little light and then it eats you.
Yeah.
That's the patriarchy. Like that's literally
exactly
what it is.
That's such a good example.
Yeah. And so it's like the other stuff may look scary. It's not well lit. It's not, you don't know what's out there. But the only way to know is to actually, give it a try and to actually try the non-traditional route and see what happens. And so I actually had like a little checklist. I don't know if you saw that, but I had a little checklist for like decentering men. And I think you'll have a lot to add to it. But just some questions to ask yourself again in a results-based economy. What are we looking at? Who or what is my priority? So when you think about your day, when you think about what the next week is going to look like, what the next month is going to look like for you, who or what is your priority? Because what you'll find on the journey to like decentering men is that you're going to find that you're going to decenter a lot of other people too. Because what it's really about is like investing in yourself, focusing on yourself. So you're going to find that not only are you going to decenter toxic men or whatever, probably going to decenter your toxic friends, your toxic family members, stuff like that, because you're going to notice that toxic people like to take priority in your life. And so if the answer to your question is either the priority in my life is a man or is my mom or is my best friend and whatever like male related emergency that she's dealing with this week, whatever, drama that she's part of this week. Maybe the priority in your life is your toxic work environment or like a shitty boss or something. That is already like, that's why decentering men is more important than just like a dating strategy. You're going to find that when you're not the focus of your life, there's so much that can distract you so easily that you will even find your purpose in. Well, my best friend needs me. Well, my mom needs me. It's like, no, these are emotionally immature people that you need to find your course and stay it, because once you're on that course, you're going to be very aware of people trying to actually pull you off of it. Every time they call, every time they and they get you involved, and now your whole day is like going in a whole different direction. If you actually had things you were focused on and you were like, no, I need to get this, and this done. So I actually can't, I have 5 minutes. Like, what do you need? You don't need advice. You just need a vent. You might want to call somebody else right now. You start doing that.
Literally.
And a lot of things become a lot more clear. So then my next question is, who or what makes me the happiest? And again, if the answer to that is not me.
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing with your life? You should know yourself best. That means you don't even know yourself. You should be able to cheer yourself up when you're sad. You should be able to like reparent that little abandoned child that lives within you somewhere that feels unheard, unloved, and is seeking for that validation outside in random men who we know are not emotionally intelligent. Like, you are seeking happiness in all the wrong places, in places that will actually take your happiness.
And
they're not going to validate you.
And they will never center you. So never forget that. You will never be the center, especially if he's patriarchal. Like, you can forget it. It's never going to happen. So you have to ask yourself, are you going to give up everything to center a person that wouldn't do it for you? Like, that's just stupid.
It just feels crazy. Yeah. It feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy too, because it just feels like, that's why a lot of women are like, no, you can't decenter men in a relationship. And it's like,
you kind of have to not be desperate and just wait. Like, don't rush into something. I just don't feel like I think a lot of women operate with this like lack mindset, like you were saying earlier. And also this sense of urgency, which I kind of feel like was manufactured mostly.
Absolutely manufactured.
You have to have kids before, 25. You're over the hill after 25.
You can have kids like into your 40s.
That's what I'm saying.
Into your late 40s.
And the older I get, the more I'm starting to realize that whole thing was just an excuse to get men to get women, girls, to have babies as young as possible because they like them young. And
also get used to a male-centered life.
Yeah,
early.
absolutely.
Because if you spend all these years being selfish and just doing whatever you want to do, how are you going to be a good wife and mother?
Well, that's the point. I don't want those things.
They know. Or even in that context, though, how am I going to be a good wife and mother? Exactly. I'm not going to burn out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give more than I have. I'm going to take care of myself first. And that's how I'm going to be a good wife and mother. And if you can't hang with that, then you want a slave.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you want. You don't want a good wife and mother.
How can you be those things when you don't have anything at that age?
Right.
Either. Like your early 20s, you haven't established much. You don't
even
know
have
who
a personality.
You are. Your frontal lobe hasn't even fully developed. Like what? But that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why they want to get you when you're young. They know the longer you go and the more you learn and pick up wisdom in life, the less likely you are either going to go that route or you're going to be very selective and very smart and use your wisdom if you go that route, which is going to cut like 90-something% of men out of the running anyway, because you have the life experience. They don't want that. They don't want you to be smart.
Because that would decenter men.
Yes.
Again, so yeah, it's like even when you're dating with really high standards, you are actually decentering men because you're not acting like men are the prize just for existing.
Absolutely.
That would be if you had no standards, you would be centering men. When you have high standards, you're centering yourself. My God.
Absolutely.
It's been this easy all along. So then there's, am I waiting on anyone else to live my life to the fullest?
You know what I just thought about? It made me think of that video where this woman said, there are women out there that are literally, was it Kat? I think it was Kat. She said women are out there living a life for a hypothetical husband that they haven't even met yet.
Yes.
I shared that video on my channel. It's like, if you really stop and think about it, that is nuts. You're like, well, I don't want to wear this outfit because my future husband, I might run into him at Home Depot and he might like.
That's a huge thing.
What?
If you were a Christian too, there's a lot, even more kind of baggage associated with that, where they're like,
that's awful.
Well, what about your future husband? Like, he didn't consent to all those other men you slept with, like all like that kind of shit. Like, what about your future husband? Like, you need to learn how to cook and clean so that your future husband, like, oh my God. Oh, men don't like women with tattoos.
Okay.
Like, all this kind of stuff just to get you to, once again, center men.
Yeah.
And so just by centering yourself and doing whatever you want and being radically selfish, you're already going against the grain. So again, you don't have to cut men out of your life. That would be a different movement. Okay. So decentering men, that's what it is. So are my long-term goals built around myself or somebody else? That's another good question to ask yourself. When you think into the future, are you like, well, and then my husband and kids, like, what if you don't have a husband and kids?
Right.
What if nobody passes the standards, Like, you have to always plan with just yourself in mind.
Absolutely.
Plan with what you have at hand. Because if you're always planning, okay, well, when I'm around 30, 35, and then my husband and kids, guess what? That time starts rolling around. You're going to get increasingly more desperate to meet that future version of you that has a husband and kids, and you're going to end up settling.
Yep.
So don't do that. Don't do that. Literally be like, how, even as a married woman, when I think about my future, like, it's me. If the relationship is there, great, but it's like the picture that I see in my head is of my goals, and they have nothing to do with my husband because we're different people. And I would never think about compromising those goals in order to like make myself small enough to be like non-threatening to, a man that can't handle that.
Right.
Like, that would give me the ick if I ever had to do that.
Absolutely.
So automatically just wouldn't work.
Right.
Like, ew.
Absolutely.
And then my last question is, who gets the best version of me? And again, that the answer to that should be me. Me, I get the best version of me. I'm the nicest to myself. I'm the kindest to myself. I'm, the most forgiving of myself.
You love yourself the most.
I love myself the most. Yes, I plan for my future self. Right. And so I think that, to me, like, that's kind of a little checklist. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, or maybe if y'all think of anything, leave it in the comments.
No, a few of these questions are in my little booklet that I was telling you about. So these are really good.
Yes, you got to get that published.
Yeah, these are the things, you pretty much covered it. Like, all of these should be you at the end of the day. And always remember too, because a lot of women are going to feel guilty by centering themselves. If you're not used to doing that, it's gonna feel weird at first. But you have to remind yourself that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are not fulfilled, full, happy, joy, feeling joy in your life every day, whatever you're doing. If you have nothing to give yourself, you are automatically not going to have anything to give to some man or even your kids or your family, your friends. You still have to, instead of feeling guilty, no, I have to be whole. And then whatever I want to give, whatever I got left over or whatever, I can give that to my boyfriend or my mom or whoever. I don't know, friends and their drama.
Anyone that's not you.
Anybody that's not you.
Because I said, you're not just decentering men. Society expects of women to give a lot.
Too much.
To everyone.
Too much to where we burn out. And it's not fair to us and it's not worth doing.
Yeah. So on that note, I think it is about time that we wrap it up. But I hope that this was very helpful to anyone that's been confused about the concept of like decentering men and what that means for your life and what that means for other women. Again, we're very, on this podcast, we're very against policing women especially using these type of like feminist concepts to be like, oh, well, she's not decentering men this, and they're like male-centered this, male-centered that. Mm-hmm. Let the results of somebody's life speak for themselves. Like let the fruits that somebody is producing speak for themselves. You will know male-centered women by the fruits of their life. Facts. You will know women that have decentered men by what their life looks like. And so that's all I have to say about that.
I agree.
We'll definitely do more about male-centered women. We'll definitely do more about how to deal with that. Please leave any other questions that came up during this episode. Please do leave them in the comments and we'll come back and address those. But hopefully this was a helpful reframing of the concept. Mm-hmm. And we will see you in our mailbag segment. Let's dig in. All right, let's open up our mail. So we have a question today and I'm going to read it, and it's a good question. So let's see what we have to say. Hi, ladies. I have a dating question for you. More specifically about meeting people. I've heard you both talk about not wanting men to hit on you, or at least feeling put off by it. But I'm shy, and the thought of approaching a man I find attractive makes me want to die. I prefer men to be the ones to come up to me. I know the red pill bros will say women need to start approaching men since they're, quote, made to feel like a creep for doing it now. What do you make of this? Do women just need to be the ones to hit on men, or should men still make the first move? I don't want to set back the cause, but the thought of hitting on men is just not it for me.
So, especially in my 20s, what I used to do was because I always saw a guy that I liked probably before he seen me. At least that's what I think all these years. And so I would just put myself in a situation where you're going to notice me, right? Without being so obvious. So I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know where she goes. I don't know if she likes to go to bars. I was going to say,
guys, don't listen to Sovereign unless you're also like a 10 out of 10. Like, come on.
No, you don't.
You're like, oh yeah,
you just have to be confident.
It's like taking dating advice from like.
Stop it. No, that's not fair. You just have to be confident, right? Have you ever seen somebody like that don't know how to dance, but they have so much confidence that it makes it a good performance? Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I feel the same way about women. Like, there's so much women can do to like just feel better and look better in general. But even so, it's all about just how confident you are. So what I've always done was I always put myself in a situation to make a man think he was hitting on me. But he's not going to do that if he doesn't see you. He's not going to do that if you don't walk up to the bar where he's sitting and ask for, I don't know, a vodka on the rock. I'm just making up a drink, right? You want a martini. He's not going to see you if you're like over there in the corner shy. Get up, walk over there, stand by him in the bar. And here's the thing. If a man is interested, he's most likely going to say something. If he doesn't say anything, there's probably a reason. Maybe he's married, maybe he's gay, maybe he's just there because whatever. I feel like when things are supposed to like happen, they will, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, trust your natural like chemistry.
Yeah, but I've done that a few times. I'm just saying.
I was gonna say, and it probably worked real well for you.
It did, actually.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, listen, it's all about confidence. It's all about how confident you are. And I feel like if you put a little extra, if you put any effort into your look, you don't have to put on a face full of makeup. You don't have to put on you don't have to do all of that if you don't want to. But if you know that those quick little spruce ups are going to make you feel more confident, do it. You know what I mean? You might not do anything but put on a cute mauve pink lip balm or whatever, and you feel like you popping in that and that boosts your confidence. Shit, go for it, right? But it's all about how confident you are. I'm telling you, in any situation, if you walk into a place or walk somewhere and you're confident, it's just going to, and you fake it till you make it.
Also, I was going to say this whole thing about like red pill men being like, women need to approach us now because we can't say anything, whatever. You don't want that kind of man.
I promise you don't.
Like, you, seriously, like if like,
you don't.
You're looking for a man who has that balance of like, he knows that it still is like safer for a man to approach a woman. He knows it still is like less scary, less threatening, less intimidating, less whatever. And like, he understands the reality of it, that like, if you want to talk to a woman, you just go talk to a woman, like, and you don't be creepy about it, right? Because the reason that other guys are like, you can't say anything to women, you are a creep. You're telling on yourself. You can't say anything to women. Yes. A normal man can certainly come up, strike up a conversation, make it seem natural, make it be natural. You know what I mean? Like, we expect so little of men, right? To where we're like, okay, so now we basically told them like, oh, they can't hit on us. Like, a healthy-minded man is not going to be one of those guys that's like, so true. Oh, you can't hit on women. You can't even talk to women anymore. And like, now there's this Me Too movement and you can't even like, talk to women at work. Like, dang, bro, how were you talking to women at work before?
Exactly.
Oh my God, what are you talking about?
I'm so glad you pointed that out because that's literally what it boils down to. A healthy-minded man will not have that mindset because men know, especially men who are confident, and men who, even if they're lacking a tad bit of confidence and they're a little nervous, I've had guys come up to me and stutter. Like they literally stuttered because they were so fucking nervous. But they will still try is the point that I'm making. If a man is expecting you to approach them like these red pill guys, trust me, if you do that, they're going to be expecting you to be masculine throughout the entire relationship if y'all start dating. It is not what you want. Those men are mostly operating out of fear anyways, because they're fear being rejected, and that's how they mask it. They're just like, no, she need to come up to me. I'm the alpha male. No, he's just scared. He's terrified that if he approaches you, especially if it's a woman that is above his caliber, you know what I mean? If she's like out of his league, if you will, they're just, everything they do is projection. So, like I said, put yourself in a line of fire, but make it seem like he approached you. Don't approach him. I don't approach men. Like
that. And also like, I think we think of like meeting people, we think of like bars, we think of like whatever, but also be intentional about that. Like be intentional about, do I want to meet a guy at a bar? Like what is my goals? Like what is my, cause I'm like, okay, if you're like just looking for some fun, you can definitely find that at a bar. If you're looking for a situationship, definitely go talk to dudes who spend their evenings at bars. Like that's fine. But like, what if you were more intentional about it and you took like a class that puts you around the kind of people you want to be around, and then a conversation strikes up naturally because now a man is not approaching you with that intent of like, oh, well, I saw you and I thought you looked nice for me enough for me to like shoot my shot. Like, because then you kind of halfway know he's thinking with his dick. Like, because at that point it's like he just saw you. Like he has nothing to base off of like, oh, we go to the same grocery store. Or like we ended up at the same bar. That tells you nothing, right? But if you both ended up at an archery class on a Thursday evening at 7 p.m., that's you might have a lot more in common than just that archery class. Like your life is probably built very similarly. And now you're not like, oh, hey, I thought you looked nice across the bar. I don't know anything about you. Here's my number. Like, I'm going to approach you. Like Now you're like, oh, hey, well, how long have you been doing this? Is this your first class? Now you're having a whole different kind of conversation.
Right.
One that's not sexual in nature, one that doesn't presume like, oh, we have nothing else other than we might hook up or we might call each other, like whatever.
Right.
It's like, no, we have the same hobby. We share interests. We are friends. We, are going to build this like slow kind of like we're going to see each other every Thursday for a couple of weeks. Like it's all about the setting, the intention, the et cetera. And again, just focus on yourself.
Yeah. And the conversation will just flow naturally in a situation like that anyway. It won't even feel, a lot of times, this is what, when people say when you're looking for something, you never find it. But when you are not paying any attention, you just living your life, that's when things fall in your lap. That is the truest shit I have ever, I'm trying to tell y'all. People, I don't know if people still believe that anymore, but I have lived that all my life.
Me too.
So
it's like a water sign thing. I swear we're just better at it. We're like,
I think so.
I'm just
that could be true.
Going with the flow. Like,
that could be true.
I only trust my gut. That's all I know.
Same.
Yeah. I just know if something feels right or wrong. And then I'm like, let's do it or let's not do it.
I'm actually working on a video about how women can learn to better listen to their intuition. Because I think a lot of women, as soon as you like start taking advice from everybody else, you start quieting your own intuition little by little. And a lot of times I think women now don't even know the difference between if I'm tripping, if I'm overreacting, or is my gut telling me something. I think a lot of women have a hard time deciphering that. And I just kind of was putting together like ways that women can kind of get that back. Because I think that's so important. In my mind, a woman's intuition is like the best gift, the best weapon. And it's not necessarily a weapon, but you know what I mean? It's the best protection that you'll ever have.
The gift of fear. Yeah. And absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole book if y'all haven't read it. It's a whole book and like talks about.
Sounds interesting, actually.
Yeah, I think you would love that book. Yeah, it just talks about like listening to your intuition, especially in like dangerous situations or like in situations where it doesn't really make sense, but you're like something feels off.
Right.
Like you should almost always
listen to that.
Go listen to that and like get the fuck out of there. Yeah, and it's kind of comes back to self-love, self like connection, because that's where you find your intuition. You're not going to find it outside of yourself. Again, you can definitely use outside sources to validate, to learn, to expand your worldview, to paint a picture for you that validates your existence, right? That's why a lot of women do like Decentering Men content or do like podcasts like ours, because it's like you get to feel validated and you get to like put words and definitions to all these feelings you've been experiencing. But like the next step is to like find that within yourself and to like fine tune, like get really in touch with yourself and get really connected and know what you're looking for and say no. Saying no is more important than saying yes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes also.
I think most of the time, honestly.
Yeah.
That's just me.
It's more about elimination. There's so much in the world, you want to get clear on your vision. And so again, that just includes men, that includes your dating life. When you really think about it, romance and dating should be like, I don't know what you would say, like
the last thing ever.
The last thing, right? Like the least interesting thing about you, because it's a whole nother person.
Right.
Like, who cares?
I agree.
It's a whole nother person. Yeah, you're building something together, but it's conceptual. Like you're building a relationship. But the most important one you can build is still with yourself. Like your partner should not be taking up more than 10 or 20% of like real estate in your mind. Yeah. Like that's me being generous. Like
I agree with you. 10%.
Especially during
maybe
that like
15.
9 to like during that like those during your productive hours, like it's just focus on yourself every single time. Focus on yourself, because that's the only guarantee you have in life is either you're gonna wake up or not wake up, and that's all you can count on,
totally
really. And so think of your future self. Think of like get clear on your goals, your hopes, your dreams, write that stuff out and get really serious about it step by step. And like get serious about healing your nervous system, feeling safe, feeling at home in your body, listening to your body, knowing the cues, knowing like, I feel something feels wrong. Like that's the most important thing you can do.
agree.
And like talking with any kind of man, like any kind of dating advice that we can give you is like, get in touch with yourself, get clear about what you want and stay on course.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. And that's where you're going to find the men that are worth talking to or hitting on or whatever. Like if you prefer men to hit on you, like whatever. Again, if that's what you prefer, then hold out for that.
Yeah.
It's that simple. If you don't, like, to begin with, right? Like this is what I mean about like clarity. The answer was in the question. Like the real answer was in the question. She said, I want someone to approach. Okay, there's your answer.
That's true.
Like, why are you stressing about, should I be talking to men or not? You're going to miss out on a man that you would have been incompatible with from the beginning.
I never liked the idea of men approaching me. I always like to put myself, and I'm saying cold turkey, where I didn't even know he existed and he came out of nowhere. I never liked that. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about that turns me off. But whenever I have noticed guys first and paid attention to them first, and then I put myself in the line of fire, if you will, for them to approach me, it was a different kind of, I can't really explain it. I did the picking in that case.
Yeah.
And so that, I think that makes a difference when you approach dealing with men where you're the one doing the choosing and you're not hoping to be chosen, like I like to say. I think that is the key. But some women like that. I mean, I always think men have ulterior motives when you don't.
When they cold approach you.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I don't like, I feel caught off guard. I feel unsafe. I feel like, how long have you been watching me? So to me, like instinctively, like it's not giving me the right vibe. So I'm with you. And it sounds like you're clear on what you want. It sounds like you're clear on your approach technique, on your like just preference of how you want to date. And that's what I want women to be clear on is like, if you're like, no, I want to actually show up. I want to do like the Shira 7 method where I show up. I'm by myself. I'm wearing something, slinky. I'm smelling nice. My makeup is done. I'm wearing like red lipstick, whatever. And I want some old man to come talk to me at the bar and like send me $1,000 just to talk to me or like send me some expensive ass drink just to talk to me. Get clear on that. Follow that. I don't know what to tell you.
Find out where those men frequent because there are plenty of men out there that do it. I promise you.
And I'm just saying, like anything, as a woman, you have to kind of start thinking of, like Sovereign said, you're the picker. Like the world is your oyster. This is what men don't want you to know. They're the ones. 71, I can't believe we actually haven't covered this in tea time yet, but there's like this growing gap between the number of girls that think they're going to get married later on in life and boys. And it's like 71% of boys think they're going to get married and like 40% of girls or something like that. It's like almost dipping. We'll have to get the exact statistics, but like
it was a huge difference.
It is way down for girls and it has stayed the same for boys. And so you have to understand, as the woman, you hold the power right now. Like, especially right now, like men don't really have a say in who gets picked. And they never really did. They had to force it to be that way.
Facts.
So always remember that. Like at the end of the day, the right type of man will want to be picked rather than like being like, oh, I want her, like whatever. Like that's in the whole, like you have to center non-patriarchal like approaches to life. If you want to find the type of man that you will be able to live a life where you're not centering him. Right. So again, it's all about how you frame it. It's all about what you want. It's all about how you want to approach your own life. And so, yeah, hopefully that was some helpful guidance. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, remember, you're not really waiting to get picked. Like that's not
right.
Don't approach it from that perspective. Even if it seems like a man picked you, like that's what I think Sovereign's trying to say. Like,
and don't let men manipulate you into thinking, because men will say stuff like, men choose who get married and because we the ones who propose and all that. Don't fall for that, because the woman still has to say yes. So at the end of the day, we decide.
I know, I was going to say, Sovereign, how many men have proposed to you over your life?
It's been 4.
Right.
And I don't care. Like, It might be another
And you
four.
didn't pick any of them.
I don't.
And they all were competing for your attention. They were competing for the rest of your life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you weren't competing for theirs.
I can't even. Facts. I can't even imagine. Like, I think the big thing is why when I realized I didn't want to get married in each one of those scenarios, it was like, I could never see myself growing old with either one of them. I'm like, I couldn't even close my eyes. I couldn't even dream it. And that's how I knew, like, no, absolutely not. If I can't even fantasize it in my mind, and I'm a fantasy girl. Like, I'm always thinking and, like, picturing myself in this situation or over here. Like, I'm a daydreamer for sure. And if I can't even daydream you, then...
It's over. It's over. And I'm telling you, if all else fails, just get a squirrel.
Name it Sugar Bush.
And center the squirrel. If you don't know how to center yourself.
Or a cat.
Center a pet. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. Like, but just don't center a man. Anything but a man.
A bird, a dog.
All right? A bird, a dog. We do not care.
A ladybug.
We literally.
A rat, even. The rats from the plague. I think that might even be. No, I'm just playing.
A plague rat. I mean, that'll keep the men away for sure.
Thank you for saying it like that. A plague rat. Like, That's so funny.
Really, though. I'm so serious. Anything but a man.
Can you imagine if somebody was like, women are out here choosing plague rats?
Plague rats. Yeah.
Over these guys. That's so funny. That says more about the guys.
Wouldn't blame them.
But
yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we are ready to give our recommendation. So if I haven't recommended it yet, The Gift of Fear by Gavin Becker, I think. That's a good book. So definitely read that. Get in touch with your intuition. Also check out our friend Jules. We'll put a link to her profile as well. She's recently going through something that I think very much illustrates the decentering of men. So go back and watch the whole saga, watch her latest videos. She's been very upfront, very transparent, and she's given us all the tea about her relationship and how she's been able to decenter men in her life and focus on herself. So huge shout out to Jules. And then like I said, we'll link that video by Lizzie B about how centering men is its own punishment. Mm-hmm. And before we go to our crumpet segment for a slick or ick, I would like to read y'all our poll results. So last week we had, the question was, when men label women witches, bitches, or whores, what do you think they're actually reacting to? The options were fear of losing control or dominance, resentment toward women who don't need them, anger when men set standards or say no, or they're threatened by women building power together without them.
Oh, that's hard because it's like all of them.
It is really all of them, isn't it?
B?
So the one that won out the most was A,
okay.
Fear of losing control or dominance. Yeah, but I think they're all deeply connected. That's the one like the root, that's like the root one is like, if women don't need them, then they lose their control and dominance. If women say no, then they lose their control and dominance. Right. If women build power together without them, they lose control and dominance. So I think, most women went all the way upstream on that one, but they're all correct. I think the answers are all correct. So thanks y'all for participating in the polls, and to our VIPs and YouTube members, we will see you in the crumpet segment.
Bye.
Bye.